I'm Rebecca, and in this video I'll be drawing Sue Perkins' dog Pickle. Pickle sadly passed away in 2014 and Sue wrote a beautiful letter to her which I'll link below. I'm drawing Pickle as I had the opportunity to meet Sue a few days ago and I was very excited and I wanted to take some sort of gift. I've been a fan of hers for a really long time. I used to watch Late Lunch and Light Lunch when I was about 10 and I had a massive crush on her, which I still have now. And I just really wanted to take some sort of gift to show my appreciation. And also, I was due to see her show last year, but I couldn't go due to Reagan needing surgery, so my parents-in-law went instead, and Sue very kindly signed a book for me, sending her love to Reagan. And I just really appreciated that, and I thought a drawing of her dog Pickle would be a really nice thank you. If you're not particularly familiar with her work, but you want to know more about her or you want to see more things that she was in, then I highly recommend Supersizers Go, Supersizers Eat, and one of my favourite shows ever is a radio show called Just a Minute, and she's in a few episodes of that and she's absolutely fantastic. The show was worth checking out anyway, but obviously it's even better when she's on it. So I was very excited to meet her, and she was just even more lovely in person than I ever expected, and I'm so glad that I finally got to meet her, and I'm really glad that I took the time to draw her absolutely beautiful dog Pickle. So a little bit about this drawing. It took me just under 5 hours. It's on Bristol Board and it's coloured with Copics with a tiny bit of Prismacolor pencil on top. I'm getting quite good at doing fur in Copics, but I still like to have a little bit of pencil on top to add finer fur detail and just for whiskers and just tiny bits of detail. I also just wanted to talk a little bit about my drawing process because I get asked about this quite a lot. I get asked about what's underneath my drawings. It's a light box for those who are wondering. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. So I do my rough sketches on just a piece of printer paper. They're really rough and they're really messy and they're lines all over the place because it's me just trying to get the structure and get everything in the right place. I then go over this with a heavier hand just to define the lines that are right, basically, because there's lines all over the place and there's only certain lines that I need. And I do like to use rulers to make sure that everything's in the right place. So there's ruler lines and it's a bit of a mess. So I go over the top with a heavier hand just to finalise my actual sketch. I then take another piece of printer paper and I use my light box to transfer that original line work onto the new printer paper, and I just find this really helps me be able to see what I've drawn because the other drawing is quite messy, and I just find that it's a lot easier for me to see where I've gone wrong and what I need to change to make it to look right when it's a lot neater and tidier. So I always transfer this over onto another piece of paper, and if you see the piece of paper that's underneath the paper that I'm working on, that's that piece. So on this piece of paper, I'll just tweak it slightly and change anything that I'm just not happy with. I tend to have a bit of a problem with doing eyes a little bit too big, and this stage helps me notice that and it allows me to fix it really easily. So then when I'm really happy with that sketch, that's that done. And I tend to use paper clips to attach that underneath the piece of Copic paper that I will be doing my final colouring on. Now I know this sounds like a lot of stages of paper, but I don't like working from messy drawing, and I don't like having any pencil lines on my final picture because it's not the look I'm going for, and I feel like it doesn't look as professional and it doesn't look as finished. So I find that it's a lot easier to have my drawing on a separate piece of paper underneath, which I then use the light box to shine up onto the piece of paper that I'm colouring in on. So I don't have very much time left, but I just wanted to answer a couple of questions that I get asked quite a lot, and each time I upload a video I'm going to answer more questions. So if you have any questions then please do leave them below and I'll get around answering them in future videos hopefully. So one question that I get quite a lot is about any art qualifications I've got. Now I did art in school up to A level, so I did it for GCSEs and I did it for A level, but I didn't really do much of anything because I didn't enjoy taking art. I liked my art teacher a lot, but I didn't enjoy doing art at school, so I didn't really do anything for it. And then when I went to university I did software engineering specifically for games, so I don't really consider myself to be a taught artist on the basis that I didn't do it at university, and I never set out to do it professionally. I was doing it as a hobby, and I was teaching myself to use the mediums that I use today. When I was doing GCSE and A-levels, I never used Copics, and I didn't use watercolour either. It was pretty much primarily in pencil. I also get asked where I learnt to use Copics, watercolours, and just to draw in general. My set of Copics were a graduation gift from my grandma, and that's when I started using those, and I always wanted Copics, and I just basically used them all the time until I got better. That's pretty much it. Copics just make sense to me, I think, and they allow me to work in the way that I want to work. I've always struggled with other mediums because they don't do quite what I want them to do, and I have to learn to work with them rather than them just doing what I want. But I find that Copics just exactly suit the way that I want to work. Watercolours I only started using about a year ago. I've been practicing and I've been watching other people's videos on how they use watercolour, and I've just been trying to pick up a little bit at a time, and hopefully I'll get to a point where I'm really happy with my watercolour skill. And as for drawing, I've always drawn. I don't know where I learnt to draw because I've never not drawn. I don't have any memories where I wasn't drawing. I also get asked a lot about the music that I listen to. Now, I did start actually leaving this in the description box because this is something that I find really interesting as well. But I've been forgetting to do it for a few, and I've just been forgetting to write down what I've been listening to. But I can tell you that for this video, I was listening to Amy LaVia. I basically just listened to all of her albums on repeat for the 5 hours that it took me to draw this. If you're interested in looking up her work, then I totally recommend that you start with Anchors and Anvils because it's my favourite album of hers. I normally listen to Mindless Self-Indulgence, The Left Rights, Katie Lang, ELO. I listen to a lot of ELO when I work. It's really nice to listen to when I work. I like listening to game soundtracks as well, especially from the Atelier series. I listen to the Fallout soundtracks a lot as well, and I listen to a lot of The Offspring, Bowling for Soup, Sum 41, music like that. So I think that's all the questions that I have time to answer in this video. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in a future video, then please do leave it down below. And thank you for watching.